That's why I rock with him.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's why I rock with JV, man.
JV.
NFL Sundays are so back. We are so back in business. I just watched 6.5 hours of afternoon football. I'm pumped up. I hope you're pumped up because we got a fire Sunday night football game tonight. Bills, Ravens. But I'm recording prior to that to get you some content for tomorrow, recap the games of this afternoon. And tomorrow night, we will be getting to Sunday night football and Monday night football. But I'm so happy. You truly got to love the game. As a player, you got to love what you're doing. As a fan, you got to love what you're doing. And I can promise you, I'm in the right business. You're in the right business if you're watching this video because this is football, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited. I hope you're excited. It's JV. You're back on the JV show. And before we get things rolling today, a few important details we need to talk about. Number one, wearing a new hat. Forwards, you're going to see a lot of action from new hats this season. Big Third Down Shop is sponsoring me this year. I love what they're doing. They sent me a package of like 5 or 6 hats. We're going to circulate throughout the season. Absolutely incredible. They'll be linked everywhere on all my socials. Go check them out. They're just getting started. My mom, big time shout out. She works extremely hard around the house. Very, very hard. My inspiration. She does not see me on Sundays. And I appreciate her letting me hog the basement, hog the TV as I got 5 games going on at once because she knows the content matters for you people. And third, but definitely not last, my pops who put up new JV show sign right beside me right here. You cannot see it right now. We're working on the camera angle. I had to get the video out today immediately before the Sunday night game, but I'm working on it. Shout out him. Shout out mom. Big Third Down Shop. Let's get into today's action. You know what it is. It's JV. You're back on the JV show. And we're going to go game by game. I have some notes here. We're not going to cover all the games, but we're going to do what we can from the games that I watch for the majority of the time. Obviously, you got like 10 games going on at once. Insane, but you love it. It's so hectic, but you love it. First game I had notes on, Bucs, Falcons. Bucs take it 23-20. These divisional games always get tough. You know what I mean? Always a battle, no matter who you are. Browns, Bengals, that's going to be a battle. Falcons, Bucs, that's going to be a battle. Every time you face a divisional opponent, things get crazy. Okay, it's not just your regular run-of-the-mill game, even if they are a piss-poor team. In this case scenario, I think they're both battling for the number 1 spot in the division. Bucs prevail. They come out with the W, and I will be honest with you, I was pumped up. Why was I pumped up? Baker Mayfield is unreal. Come on. No Tristan Wirfs, no problem. He balled out. 17 of 32, 167 pass yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. He added 5 carries for 39 yards on the ground. He threw 2 laser touchdowns to rookie Emeka Egbuka. When I watch him play, that's who I wish I could be as a player. He's gritty. He's an animal. He's ferocious. Running the football, he reminds me of a fullback. He puts his shoulder into the chest of linebackers. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter to him. This is football, and he loves what he does. He's got a rocket of an arm. He throws with intent, with great power across the middle. And he delivers that football with a crazy amount of velocity. And you saw that on the touchdown to Egbuka to seal the deal and win them the game. Again, tough divisional game. Bucs come out alive. And Emeka Egbuka, have yourself a day. Have yourself a rookie debut in the NFL. Very, very impressive. This is a crowded receiving room. You're going to have a Chris Godwin. You have a Mike Evans. You got Egbuka. You got McMillan when he's healthy. There's a lot of options. You got a Bucky Irving. There are plenty of mouths to feed, and for him to find a role immediately week 1, real impressive. But I just loved what I saw from Baker Mayfield. Stiff-arming defenders, plowing through DBs, plowing through linebackers, does not matter. He does it all. Baker Mayfield has my dark horse MVP vote. Locked and secured. I said it to start the season, and I stand on it. It's crazy to me the Browns gave up on this guy because the talent was evidently there. But that's a poor franchise. Goes to Carolina. Gave up on him. Goes to LA. Backs up. Whoever was there. I think it was Garoppolo at the time. Maybe Stafford. Who knows? Moves on. Found his place in Tampa Bay. And this is where he thrives. The Bucs should be blessed to have a guy like Baker Mayfield. They rally around him. He's a great leader. He's matured. They can win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. I'll say it flat out. The Bucs can win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. On the other side of the ball, Michael Penix, really solid game. Gave them the lead against Tampa Bay. Baker showed out, scored a touchdown, won the game. Brought him back into field goal position. Koo misses the field goal, whatever. Can't do anything about that. But Michael Penix, real impressive. 300 yards through the air. Touchdown to Bijan earlier on in the game, who was also incredible. Really talented game between the Bucs and the Falcons. A lot to root for on both sides of the ball for sure. Now, game of the week probably. Arguably going to be up there for game of the year when we get to February. Steelers, Jets. I know you didn't have this on your calendar. I know if you're not a Steelers fan, I know if you're not a Jets fan, you were not watching this game. But with that being said, it was arguably the game of the week. We'll see what happens tonight and tomorrow, but it was really entertaining. All right. Aaron Rodgers, 22 of 30 passing, 244 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers balled out in week 1. I was very impressed. And listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I keep it transparent here. I called Aaron Rodgers washed before the season started. I'm not here to say that I'm going back on my words. This is week 1. I'm not overreacting. I thought Aaron Rodgers played really well in his first appearance, starting for the Steelers in the regular season. He looked very comfortable, distributed the ball very equally. DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth. If that O-line can keep him safe, Rodgers will have a successful year. It was plain and simple, old Aaron Rodgers, rolling out, hitting his guy on the move, tossing touchdowns left and right, and he capitalized on opportunities presented to him. Jets fumble on a kick return, bam, touchdown, dagger. Momentum shifts. Steelers got it. He proved to the Jets that he can still start in the NFL. He had something to prove against that organization who let him go last year, who was very disrespectful to him, and he balled out. I got to give it to him. Maybe I was a little bit wrong. And I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. You know, I was very impressed. On the other side of the ball, Justin Fields, man. Another guy I was very impressed with week 1. These are 2 quarterbacks I have not been high on. I'm going to be honest with you. Rodgers last year looked a little bit older. Didn't deal with pressure too well. We'll see how the year evolves. Can he be consistent with it? Fields last year was pretty solid in Pittsburgh, but evidently was lacking some arm talent and the ability to distribute to multiple targets at once. Fields is known historically to be a one-target quarterback. It's Garrett Wilson or bust for me right now. I think Garrett Wilson had 7 receptions. I think the next up was maybe 2 or 3. But Justin Fields was excellent against Pittsburgh. Versatile. He was a threat on the ground and in the air. 16 of 22 passing, 218 yards, and a touchdown, plus 48 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. Fields put on a show for the people. And I know they didn't win. I know they came up 2 points short. But with all that being said, Justin Fields showed us first-round talent today. And that's what you want to see. I was very impressed with Aaron Glenn. I thought he had his boys ready to go, even though they lost. I liked the mentality of the team. I liked the way the offense was moving. I thought there were some really good second half adjustments, bringing pressure to Rodgers. Obviously, by the end, Rodgers figured it out, played a really good game, but I thought Aaron Glenn was solid in his head coaching debut, motivating his guys, hyped up, clearly cared about what was going on. I thought it was great. But Justin Fields, man, my only question, is this sustainable? Is his arm good enough to go 18 weeks playing at an elite level like he did today? We'll find out. The one thing I would be cautious on, they don't have much talent besides Garrett Wilson in the receiving game. They really don't. Their only target really is Garrett Wilson. And that's fine, like I said, because notoriously Justin Fields has been a one-read quarterback. We'll see how other defenses deal with it, but game of the year, Steelers, Jets, week 1, I was fired up, watched the whole thing, thought it was great. The one thing about the Steelers before we jump to our next game, the Steelers need to figure out their rushing attack and pair it with a good passing attack. You can't have an air attack and just be nothing on the ground, because eventually you'll match up with a team that can lock up your DK Metcalf. And then you're forcing the ball to Calvin Austin, to Pat Freiermuth. And there will be better defenses that you face. You need Jaylen Warren to turn the Jets on. You need a Caleb Johnson to turn the Jets on. Get that rushing attack going. This Steelers run game hasn't been very good for a while now. Even with Najee Harris, it was not great. Probably just average. And going down the stretch, that will be very helpful for Rodgers if they can pick that up. Because this is what the Steelers do. The Steelers give you a whole lot of hope early on in the season. They win big games. They're exciting. And then around December, around Thanksgiving, they fall off. And they cruise into the playoffs with an average record. And they lose in the wild card. If they want to keep this up, they need a better run game, and the defense needs to step up. 32 points against Justin Fields, and that Jets offense just will not cut it against high-powered offenses. But that was Steelers-Jets. Again, real exciting game. Keep an eye on Justin Fields and Rodgers as the season goes on. Bengals-Browns. I don't really have anything to say about the Browns. I mean, Flacco starting, you got Jerry Jeudy. Defense was pretty good. Like, they're not contending this year. Shocker, right? Like, the Browns aren't a playoff team this year. They're in a heavy, deep rebuild. But the Bengals should have lost week 1. 100%. It pains me to watch this team. The Bengals play like they want to lose. They are far from playoff ready. The offensive line is handing out free passes at Joe Burrow. And despite Burrow having a great year last year and opening up the game really well, Joe Burrow completed 4 passes in the second half. The defense was gifted 2 interceptions. Don't be a box score watcher. Twice, the ball went in and out of a receiver's hands, landed in the lap of that Cincy defense. And the worst part of all, this Bengals team is soft. They are soft. It is unbelievable. They don't want to get physical. They don't want to tackle. They do not want to hit hard. They do not want to be hit. This was the most undeserving win I've seen in a long time. And you know it's bad when their fans are raving about their defense against a Joe Flacco-led Browns offense. That's when you know it's bad. That's how you know the Bengals have not won in week 1 for 5 years. Absolutely undeserving. 3 points they put up in the second half. And I'm not going to lie to you, the defense was good. But again, you can't rave about a defensive performance against the Cleveland Browns right now. It just doesn't make sense. That should always be the expectation. There are too many holes on this roster to make a playoff run. You got Trey Hendrickson, great. You got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. You better damn put up 30 points a game at minimum if you're going to sign them to those max deals. 17 points ain't going to cut it. I'll tell you for sure, it sure as hell ain't cutting it against the Ravens. Even against the Steelers. Against the Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, you name it. These are the Cleveland Browns. 17-16, Bengals squeak out with the win. The only positive, in my opinion, is that they are notoriously a slow starting team. So for them to get a win like this, whereas they lost last year to the Patriots week 1, this might be big and beneficial when they go 10-7 by the end of the year. But again, too many holes on this roster to actually be a threat in the playoffs. But we knew that heading into the season. And I think all Bengals fans watched that game today in pain, and they suffered watching their team win. It was a suffering win. And it hurt to watch, I'm sure, for Bengals fans. Giants-Commanders. Commanders take it 21-6. Commanders outplayed them. Commanders are the better team. But I do think the Giants have a shot under one condition. They got to switch quarterbacks. They got to. It was going to happen at some point. Did not expect it to be this early. But it had to happen. The Giants need to start Jackson Dart. Give him a shot. You got nothing to lose. You have very low expectations for this season. You win 6 or 7 games, I think that's a win. Wilson was 17 of 37. He looked scared and flustered against pressure. He missed pass after pass, whether it was short, overthrown, and he carried the ball 8 times. Who does he think he is? This is not prime Russell Wilson. You're deep into your 30s. This ain't going to work. You cannot be the versatile dual threat Russell Wilson you once were. You need to adapt to the game. Historically, Russell Wilson hasn't been an intermediate passer. He's used his legs. He's made things happen outside the pocket, and he's thrown a really great deep ball. Now that he's older, he's not as versatile, not as agile. The arm has to adapt, and it's not there anymore, if it ever was. Malik Neighbors was visibly upset with his performance. Give Dart the starting job. Give Dart the job right now. And I was reading right before I started filming, Brian Daboll did not name Russell Wilson as the starter next week. The job is up for grabs. And I truly believe Daboll's looking at today's performance, saying, sure, we lost by a few scores, but we weren't completely out of it. If the Giants had better quarterback play, they could have won the game today. The Commanders were not on their best game. It was not the best day for Washington. 12 penalties, mistake after mistake. Offense was solid, defense was good, but there were opportunities, and they were missed. There were a handful of missed opportunities, whether that's the red zone, whether that's down the field, that maybe, just maybe, Jackson Dart could have capitalized on. So I say give Dart a shot. We saw what he could do in the preseason. We saw the talent. Get a young face in there. Start him, see what happens. If it's a gong show, oh well. Dable loses his job. GM loses his job. On to the next. But Dable's going to make a desperate decision at some point or another real soon because he needs to save his job. And I think Dart's the option. As for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, Jaden Daniels is here to stay. He's here and he's here to stay. All right, I heard a lot of talk. Oh, we can't rank Jaden Daniels as a top 5 quarterback. We can't rank him in the top 8, the top 10, because we've only seen one season. Yeah, it's a whole lot of BS. You can say that about a quarterback that might have had a fluky year one. I didn't view that as a fluky year one for Jaden Daniels. 300 total yards, 19 of 30 passing with 1 touchdown, and the offense was slow. And this wasn't a good day for that offense. There is so much versatility in his game, picking up countless first downs on QB draws. He is just as lethal on the ground as he is with his arm. He is so composed, calm, under control in the pocket, and his confidence to put balls over the middle in the intermediate part of the field and hit receivers in stride is unbelievable for a second-year quarterback. And he was doing that in his first year. Jaden Daniels is someone I would describe as a generational talent. Somebody that comes into the NFL and immediately understands the game and is a perfect fit. Obviously, there were questions. Can you repeat it? Was this a fluky year for the Commanders? Today, I did not think they were disciplined. I did not think they played their best game. But despite that, Jaden Daniels played well. And a few of those incompletions, they were drops. Flat out drops. And a few times he missed. Handful of receivers. Missed Terry on a deep ball earlier on in the game. Debo just like 6 inches away from being a big-time pickup down the seam. So those are small kinks they'll figure out. But as an individual, yeah, Jaden Daniels is the real deal. We knew that, and he proved it again. And he'll continue to prove it again and again. That playoff run last year, the performances in the playoffs from Jaden Daniels, yeah, that was no fluke. This guy's serious. This kid is, man, he's special. He's a great quarterback. He is the franchise quarterback of the future for the Commanders. Let's move over to Dolphins Colts. Full transparency. I did not watch too much of this game because I expected it to be boring. Not too much I wanted to talk about, to be honest with you. And honestly, there were just more important games that I cared about more on screen. I can only watch so much at once. But when I saw the score of like 17-0 or 20-0 or 33-8, you better bet I just tuned in just for a little bit to pat myself on the back. A lot of people were talking about this, including myself, for the past few years. Colts 33, Dolphins 8. The Dolphins are a clown show. What a joke. In 2020, Miami drafted Tua over Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, and Jalen Hurts. How embarrassing. Tua today was 14 of 23 with 114 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. It's over. The franchise quarterback in Tua with Miami, it's done. The McDaniel show, it's over. Tua is the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL. $55 million for a complete joke of a product. A complete joke. He's either injured or he's not producing for the offense. He turns over the ball, makes bad decisions, doesn't have an incredible arm by any means. And he's prone to concussions all the time, something he can't control, but we have to take it into account because availability is the best ability. And it doesn't help. He's matched up with a clown for an OC and a head coach. Mike McDaniel should be unemployed this week. He should have been unemployed a while ago, but this week, 100%. His offense can't even put up points against a weak Indianapolis Colts defense. He's been a one-trick pony since he entered the league. And the second defenses started playing Tyreek Hill deep, the offense went nowhere. They stalled. They stopped putting up points. There is so much talent on this offense going to waste because Mike McDaniel is a fraud. He's not a leader of men, but he fits in with the bougie crowd in Miami. The seat is burning for Mike McDaniel. It's no longer hot. It's no longer warm. Mike McDaniel is on a burning hot seat. The smoke alarm's going off. Wrap up the project. There needs to be a new face, a new leader for this Dolphins team. Because this is embarrassing. They made Daniel Jones look like prime Andrew Luck against that defense. Something's got to change. Tyreek Hill is upset. And you know what? I agree with them. Because years ago, at least this offense could put up points against bad defenses. Now, I have no confidence whatsoever. And you know, that's also the story of Tua, too. Tua's never been a top 12 guy in the NFL. He just hasn't been. The stats he put up a few years ago against bad teams, gets injured. And sure, his completion percentage at points has been great. I don't care. The product isn't there. When was the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game? Somebody tell me. I genuinely don't even know. I definitely wasn't alive. Or maybe I was real young. I know I'm a little bit young compared to the media, but like, I haven't seen success in Miami for so long. Whatever. Dolphins are a clown show. Good for the Colts to get a win. Don't think they're anything special this year. But, again, just an embarrassing performance from Miami. Now to get into the afternoon games. I think I have 3, maybe just 2 we're going to talk about today. We're going to get into the rest tomorrow evening. Monday night I'm recording with my guy Steven from Some Casual Takes. Phenomenal public speaker. He does really well. His takes are incredible. I just want to shout him out right now. We're going to get into it tomorrow. We're going to chat Vikings, Bears, Bills, Ravens, talk a little bit more about Tyreek Hill, and then a few topics I missed on today just because I'm covering the majority of games, but not everything. We're going to get you all the content, though, this week. 2 games I wanted to talk about from this afternoon. Packers, Lions, Niners, Seahawks. Kicking us off, Packers, Lions. Packers 27, Lions 13. There are 2 types of people entering the season. People who believed in the Lions and people who gave up on them. I was somewhere in the middle, and I'm starting to fade even more. One of the big reasons, Jared Goff. Jared Goff showed us his true colors without Ben Johnson. First time without McVay or Ben Johnson, and boy, can you tell a difference. Goff has always lived with great talent and great coaching around him. The second Ben Johnson disappeared, no life on the offense, 0 threat vertical, and 0 excitement and creativity in the offense. He took a terrible sack on the 1-yard line, and he struggled against pressure. And I made this point last year when the Lions lost in the playoffs. I saw something from Jared Goff I can't unsee. McVay saw Jared Goff years ago and went to Stafford for a reason. There are levels to greatness. I don't doubt Jared Goff can perform under perfect circumstances with great weapons and a great offensive mind at the helm. But the second you adjust something, I'm not so sure. I'm not sold on Jared Goff. And last year, I'm seeing him overrated. And maybe I even overrated him myself because you can get lost in the moment. But this is why I say things like Jared Goff over Jalen Hurts in the top 100 makes 0 sense. It just makes no sense. Jared Goff is a one-dimensional guy. Does not push the rock on the ground with his legs. He is a pocket passer that doesn't deal with pressure well. And he's never been independent away from one of the best offensive minds in football. Now we're seeing that, and we're seeing him struggle. And the secondary in Green Bay, it's not all that incredible. You will face better secondaries. So all I'm going to say, again, I think Jared Goff has been hiding behind a McVay offense, a Ben Johnson offense, and now we're seeing the true colors. Today, 31 of 39, 225 yards, a touchdown, and interception. The Lions they're tumbling far, far down the hill. And honestly, I think their window's gone. I said it was slipping away to start the season. Now I'm even more convinced that it's gone. Because I look at the offense, I look at the defense, I look at the game plan. I watched them get beat down by a division rival that they pretty much owned last year. I know the games are closer, but they were up for the majority of it big time, and the Packers kind of carved their way back. But at the end of the day, man, the Lions are falling apart. Their Super Bowl window just vanished. It's gone. Like a fart in the wind. Phew, done. 2 years at the top of the NFC, and now they are rapidly falling the ranks. Like I said, no Ben Johnson. As a result, the Lions scored 13 points today. Their lowest last year was 16 on the season. Their interior O-line is weak. The D-line penetrated that offensive line all game long. But that's not the end. You're missing Aaron Glenn. So as a result, the defense was torn apart for 27 points against the Packers. And I thought they could have layered on more and more and more. You start the game in zone coverage. You get crushed by Romeo Doubs' post. Hutchinson dropping into coverage on the second drive, getting super cute, doesn't make sense to me. Then you move to man coverage. You get dusted by Jaden Reed for a touchdown in the end zone. I just don't think they got it anymore. I think a real thing in football, and something that's underrated, there are waves when you play in the NFL. Teams like Philly, for example, teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Bills, they're consistently good. You can always consistently rely on them to be a really, really good team. Whether that's coaching, personnel, you name it. There are also flaky teams that ride waves. Last year, maybe the Commanders, although I think they'll be good this year too. A few years ago, the Cleveland Browns, who went 11-6. The Detroit Lions have been riding a massive wave for the last 2 years. The Lions have been riding a wave of excitement, of energy for 2 years with Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and Dan Campbell. Now they are missing two of those men, and they're falling really fast. There is no more hype around the Lions. We're expecting consistency now. And I don't think we're getting that out of this team. Because they go up against a division rival in the Green Bay Packers and they get walloped. They get schmacked. Put in their place. The real score was 27-6 or 7. Whatever the score was before Isaac Tesla made that great grab at the end of the game, which was incredible, by the way. As for the Packers, their D-line, Jordan Love, even their secondary, their receivers, everything looked great. I was skeptical. I still somewhat am. But assessing Jordan Love's game, I thought he balled out. Jordan Love was balling out against the Lions. Started the game with heat 2 touchdowns, one to Kraft, the other to Reed. He threw a dangerously risky ball. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. This is my problem with Jordan Love. He can play a great game, but he puts the ball in harm's way. Should have been picked off, could have swung the momentum of the game in favor of the Lions, but it wasn't. Against a better team, that might not fly. And that's always the mentality you have to have. You never want to play down to the level of your opponent. You want to play the level of yourself. The consistency of your team matters. That stuff needs to go. If you can get a perfect game out of Jordan Love, this Packers team is very close to being unbeatable. They would be knocking at the door of Philly or the Rams. But that's a big ask. To get a no-turnover game from Jordan Love, no turnover-worthy plays, no idiotic mistakes, that's what you're looking for. And today, it should have happened. I promise you. I was waiting on it. I wasn't believing it. And then, bam. I think it was thrown to Anzalone. Just tossed it out there. Should have been a pick. But regardless, you look at the game he played. Besides that one play, he was hitting hole shots, finding soft spots in the coverage. He was great for the majority of the game. Jordan Love has a handful of weapons now. You got Dobbs, Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden. A bunch of names you can turn to. And that also means nobody has to be a consistent number one. You have multiple guys that can slot in and have a big game. It would be nice to have a consistent number one, and hopefully that ends up being a Matthew Golden. Today it was Dobbs. Next week maybe it's Reed. But I think they're set up to succeed. I think Micah was great, put a lot of great pressure on the quarterback. Evidently a threat and a much-needed addition for this defense. Packers are good. Packers are good, and they're climbing, and the Lions are slowly falling. I'm telling you. And you could see it from a mile away starting the season. Last game, and I saved the best for last. Niners, Seahawks. Niners take it 17-13. Bosa called game with a strip sack in his own red zone with Sam Darnold pushing the ball. Seahawks almost won the game. Look, I am a huge Brock Purdy fan. I'm a huge Brock Purdy supporter because I am a fan of supporting people who are doubted, hated on from the beginning for no damn reason either. It's not like he's a bad dude or goes out in the media and bashes his teammates or is deserving of the hate or the critics. I don't get it. He was just a late draft pick that slotted into a pretty good team and won them a bunch of games and succeeded and is very humble about it and got paid what he deserved. And people continue to hate, but I promise you, he will prove you wrong again and again, and he did again today. Brock Purdy deserved all $53 million per year he was paid. He proved it week 1. Brock Purdy deserved his money. And this was proof. 26 of 35 today, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I'll be honest, we can't afford those turnovers from Brock Purdy. Just can't happen. I don't think Brock Purdy is at the talent level of a Mahomes, of a Burrow, of an Allen, of a Lamar, even of a Jalen Hurts. So turnovers, especially careless, just won't cut it. He knows, though. You got to shave off the turnovers. But with that being said, the O-line was vacant. He dealt with pressure all day long. He loses Kittle early in the game after he scores a touchdown. No Brandon Ayuk. And yet he made it happen with what he had. That's the story of his career these past few years. Leads the game-winning drive. Amazing ball down the sideline to Ricky Pearsall. Follows that up, escaping the pocket, making things happen with his legs, and throwing the game-winning touchdown at the back of the end zone. Earlier on in the game, Big time fourth down completion to Christian McCaffrey out the backfield. Or, you know what? He might have been lined up outside. He recognized pressure on the fourth down, made the adjustment, hit McCaffrey. They put up 3 points, and he won them the game. Ricky had 4 receptions, 108 yards, an average of 27 yards per reception. Amazing. Amazing. First pick Brock Purdy threw. Didn't love the play design. You had a deep dig going across the middle. Nothing underneath to hold those linebackers low. So they were able to leak back, flood back, got the pick. Brock Purdy's arm strength is a weakness in his game. He tends to float balls out there just a little bit too much. He leaves his passes hanging in the air just a half second too much. That's why Ricky didn't get the touchdown earlier on in the fourth. That's why he's often picked off over the middle. He needs to adjust that. But from an individual standpoint, he played great. And Brock Purdy deserves all the money he got. And then CMC, how great is it to have a running back of that caliber when he's healthy working for your offense? CMC changes the trajectory for the Niners. He really does. 31 touches today, 142 total yards. He is a security blanket for Brock Purdy. First down machine. He does it all. Runs the ball well. Catches the ball well. What else can you ask from him? When CMC is healthy, the Niners are always a playoff contender. Always. He was Saquon Barkley before Saquon Barkley was in Philly. He was Saquon Barkley for Philly in San Francisco. And you see it. They use him all over the field, catching passes out of the backfield, lined up on the line of scrimmage, rushing the rock, doing this, doing that, X, Y, Z. It does not matter. If Purdy has CMC and George Kittle, I'd be worried about this team moving forward because that defense looked pretty solid today. A few times they got caught lacking, especially on that last drive. Unnecessary to bite on a double move from JSN when you know they got to press the field, when you know they got to score. Didn't make sense. Again, I'm not a DB coach. I've never played DB. But as a wide receiver guy, I loved it, obviously. But again, if you have CMC on your offense, it changes the game for the Niners. And I think we saw that today with him being healthy for this offense. That was everything I had today. Those were the majority of games I watched. Tonight, I will be live with MJ and Nee over on MJ's page. We're talking Ravens, Bills, going over a few points from tonight. Again, an excellent first slate of games, an excellent Sunday. We got Ravens, Bills tonight, Vikings, Bears tomorrow night. Stay tuned on the channel. We're bringing tons of content your way. As always, thank you so much. Go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, do your thing. It's JV. You're on the JV show, and I will catch you very, very soon back here on the podcast. Yes, sir.